Death Magnetic.
Old school essence.
A bit like being wiped out by a huge wave.
Do I not know the
Death Magnetic, the new Metallica album. I'm a little close to it. My head is still kind of spinning about the whole process of the last couple years, but everybody who's heard it says it sounds great.
It's been 2 years in the making, and gone through lots of lyrical ideas, lots of, I guess, growing up after Saint Anger. This is Rick Rubin and us trying to capture the essence, the simplicity, the skeleton of Metallica.
It certainly has a lot of energy. It certainly sounds very lively, and it sounds very, we say it has a high face value. Rick Rubin's, I think one of his key things that he wanted to try and do was to get Metallica to sound really live in the studio. Some of the previous records we made in the 90s, I think, got a little over-labored and a little too anal and a little too kind of, detail-oriented and so on. And Rick really wanted to kind of try and preserve that kind of wall of sound that happens when we play in live situations. It's retained all that liveliness, and it's loud in your face. And in about 6 months from now, I'll listen to it again, and I'll be able to see if the songs are any good. But most of my black metal friends who've heard it, they all like it, so I'll take that as a good thing.
When we were making this album, we had gone through the tribulations that we had been put through on Saint Anger, and that was now past us, and we had moved on from that point, and we were now a band again because we had gotten robbed.
This being my first Metallica album, I feel like it's great. I mean, the guys welcomed me with open arms.
The studio has been much easier than it ever has been. I think the main part is realizing friction is a part of it all. And we need each other more than we hate each other. As simple as that. It's probably the most band-like that I can remember. As far as going through the songs, recording the songs, and adding to the songs, cutting and pasting and doing all that fun stuff. We were there. All of us were there for the whole thing. It felt right.
We didn't spit them out in an afternoon. We wrote in the studio for the better part of about a year. But it was kind of more like, it wasn't like, okay, here's a new song, here's a new song, here's a new song. It was more like, here's a new song, and here's another new song, and here's another new song, and now let's go back and re-look at this one, and then now let's re-look at this one, and now here comes 5, 6, and 7, but 1, 2, and 3 are gonna get tweaked because 6, 7, and 8 have a particular. So it was, to me, they were all constant works in progress.
They really, really were open to suggestion, and they wanted to hear what I had to say. And at the same time, I know that, with Lars and James especially, you gotta let those guys kind of run with an arrangement when it comes to arranging songs and stuff. It's like going to the best school of songwriting on the planet.
We had a lot of material that was pre-written. So we had a good, strong foundation of music to decide what was going to be used on the album and what was not.
The song starts to blossom, about 5 years ago is when we started to develop ideas. After 2 years of touring, we had 60 hours, at least 60 hours of ideas.
And then we'd go on the road, and then we'd get re-inspired by this or that, and then we'd come back and tweak some more. We ended up with 25 skeletons of songs or bases of songs, and then we started weeding them out, and ended up with 14 that we recorded. And we made a decision, all of us, that we were going to record and see 14 through. If I rub it on the mic, can you hear it? Can you hear it? You know, the reconnecting with the past is something that definitely happened organically. Rick made us comfortable about revisiting and being maybe inspired by some of the records we put out in the 80s.
He knew what the ultimate Metallica album should sound like in his head, and he said to us from the very beginning, whatever you guys were doing, whatever you guys were thinking, whatever you guys were listening to.
Try and take yourselves back to, 1981. Reconnect with the early years. Don't be afraid of that.
And try to bring your musical minds there in the present day.
Listen to the same records that you listened to in the 80s. Try and write the same way. It was never copy what you were doing musically. It was just put yourself in that headspace, and it felt really good to do that finally. I think by just avoiding going there for so long, and when we finally went back a couple of years ago, it's like, you know what, we can hang out here and we can be inspired by these records and we can feel good about it.
You can't recreate a time. You can't fit in that anymore. I'm not eating that crap food, whatever it is. We can't go back there. I get that we want to capture the essence, the hunger, the simplicity of Metallica, and that's what I think we captured on Death Magnetic.
I thought that was a really positive thing, because for me, coming into Metallica, I mean, I love everything that Metallica's done, but I really, really love the old school stuff and the flavor of the old school. So some of the arranging and just the creative process may have been similar to how they had done it back in the old days.
We actually started most of the creative process in the summer of 2006, which was the same time that the Master Puppets' 20th anniversary was going down, and we actually played the whole record live all over Europe and Asia and stuff. So we kind of got in under the skin of Master Puppets there for a while, and right as we kind of started writing these new songs for Death Magnetic, and so it certainly made us feel comfortable about embracing some of the things that we had done in the 80s for the first time really in 15, 17 years.
So Rick was very clever, even in the tuning of the songs. Like, why does Metallica have everything tuned down a half step? So we ended up trying the songs in A440 tuning, which is a natural tuning, and I think that's great because James, he can still sing his ass off, and he's got the ability to hit the notes, and there's a bit more angst to the vocal, I feel. It sounds a little bit higher, so I really like what James did. I'm happy that Rick actually suggested that.
Just keep waiting.
The only thing that Rick was really adamant about was that he did not want us to go into the studio until we could play these songs in our sleep, standing on our heads, backwards, upside down, whatever. He didn't want the studio to be a place of, I know this sounds silly maybe, but a place of creativity. He wanted the studio to be more of a place of execution, where you just go in and you bang this shit out. You do all the thinking and the tweaking in the pre-production. So we basically, did all that for a year and a half, and then Rick said one day, you know what, you're done. Now let's go in and bang these guys out, and then we went in and banged them out with relative ease in terms of the execution of it. So there was a lot more time and effort put into the creative part of the record, and then the stuff in the recording studio was really just going in and banging it out.
Well, the short film appealed to me as in tired of seeing the same old kind of video or wanting to try something different.
I was on a treadmill in Italy in July, and I spent about an hour in the company of one of those cheesy music video channels, and literally I was close to puking. And I called up Cliff Bernstein, and I said, our manager, and I said, we can't make videos. We have to get away from that. we can't be in the same, we just can't do this. We have to make short films.
This is supposed to enhance our music. So hopefully it does. I really love the fact that it's not literal, or the lyric says something and then, you know, and they all ran away, and then you see things running away, or you know, it's not dumb.
Of course, when you have all the songs are, you know, north of 8 minutes, then they sort of almost by default become short films. But but we basically made the decision to work with filmmakers, to work with film directors, and we made a very, very short list of some of our favorite film directors and people that we thought were edgy and just the vital young film directors of our time. Thomas Vinterberg, obviously a fellow Dane, and somebody who I've been enamored with for 10 years and actually known for a long time also. I just came up with this great concept for The Day That Never Comes, which took the most specific lyrics, and he took the very obvious place where those were set and completely threw that away and set the song up in a very, very different environment. The scale of it is very big and about soldiers, you know, and kind of this whole setup that on one hand is very contemporary and I think very relevant in what it's saying, but at the same time is also completely timeless.
It's emotional, even without the music, which is pretty important as well.
Because it really is a story about forgiveness, it's a story about redemption, it's a story about human interaction, it's a story about people being in a situation that they don't want to be in. I'm really, really, really proud of this video. It fits the song beautifully because of the scale of the video and what he's done with it. I've always felt that Metallica has done its best to welcome people in and to have our fans and friends have as much access to Metallica as possible.
The meet and greets are such a great vibe. They're such a great inspiration for both sides, I think. I feel I'm getting more out of it than they are a lot of times. When there's not too many, and when you got a manageable amount of people, you can actually spend some time with them and make it real. And the factory meet and greet, go through, sign, and off you go, you know, kiss the baby, and it's not friendly, basically. We love the meet and greets. They inspire us.
Just to feel that rapport of you know, coming into contact with the fans and talking to them about new music and their opinions on new music in general and the new album in general, I think was valuable too.
I love to hear the feedback, good and bad, you know. I think the band, when they go into a meet and greet, you're feeling pretty confident. Everyone's looking at you, you're going, yeah, I'm the man, I feel pretty good. You can kind of say anything you want to me and it's not really gonna hurt, you know. Oh, Kill 'Em All is better than this one, you know, you guys suck after this record. Okay, that's great. What is it you think sucked? And, you know, start to converse about it. And it's like, all right. But it's, it puts you in a good mood, man. So you hit the stage and you're already pumped.
We are looking forward to playing new songs, absolutely. We had a talk a couple days ago about we're going to rehearse all 10 of them, and we want to be able to play all 10 of them at any given time.
Because they're all kind of written with live performance in mind, which is something that we did back in the 80s.
This album is a mixture of a lot of different tastes of Metallica, and hopefully there are a few songs in there that will become live evergreens, you know. We have been touring for a few hundred years and forced a lot of songs into people's faces.
It's great to see you, my friend.
And they've learned them, and that's how you get that song that stays in the live set, I think.
These songs, the way they're put together, they're put together to be played by two guitars, bass and drums live, and you know, it's great that we're back to that again, because the advantage is that what you hear on record is going to be much more closer to what you're going to be hearing live.
But these new songs, we can't wait. It's fun to be Metallica. It's been a great couple of years. I think we finally got all the balances figured out between our own needs, the band needs, family needs, the whole thing. It's like it's finally balanced.
Maybe it's a little bit of wisdom sinking through this thick thing, but starting to figure out the dynamic of the band. Why? We're not really figuring out why, but acknowledging what we do have and how it works. We're realizing that we need each other, and we go places when we're together, and we're able to achieve great things with the Metallica key, you know?
It's all pretty good, and Saint Anger and Some Kind of Monster. Those are distant memories. It's amazing, man. Metal all over the world is alive and well, and probably even doing better than it has for a long time. It feels to me like a real vital energy at the moment, and metal just seems a lot of the younger kids that are coming up are kind of bypassing most things grunge. They're kind of bypassing most things rap, metal-y and stuff like that. And most of the 13-year-olds now, they're into all the same things that we were all into in the 70s and 80s. Thanks in part maybe to the Guitar Heroes and the rock bands and so on. But it's very healthy. I've always felt that Metallica has done its best to welcome people in and to have our fans and friends have as much access to Metallica as possible. That's just about trying to, connect with people as much as possible.
We are explorers. We have to move forward and keep going. We're artists. We're hungry for the best. The best has not been achieved yet. So on we go.